Electrical Engineer at UTD.
I'm Vidit Bhatt. I'm CS at UTD. And so basically what we're doing here today is we're going to show you guys what this is. We call this Sim. And what Sim is a immersive virtual reality experience. So basically what we're trying to do is combine a variety of sensory peripherals, such as these joysticks, the Oculus sensor, and the mic in the Oculus, and voice recognition to create as immersive an experience as possible within a virtual reality environment. So the virtual reality environment that we picked for our hack was Elite Dangerous. You guys might have heard about it. The reasons we picked Elite Dangerous is that it's fun, it has native VR support, and it's challenging.
All right, I'm gonna test it for you guys, and if any of the judges want to test after me, we already know someone who has tested it.
One of the things that we're having trouble with is actually getting some motor controllers to control our motors. These motors are from the roll-up windows in your car, and we salvaged those as recycle. That cut down some cost on the total project. The problem with them is they're pulling too much amperage, and we couldn't find a motor controller in the time amount that we had to get enough power into it, and it was blowing up the motor controllers. So right now I'm just going to go ahead and show you that the motors will actually move the participant. So it will actually move. We're setting it up with the Arduino with the motor controllers, and we would have feedback through potentiometers, and it would be really precise, and we would get feedback from the joysticks in order to move the chair around. So what I'm going to do now is unhook this and put it in what I like to call manual mode, so that you can see how it would have worked if we had the motor controllers.
The best part about a chair is the total cost of everything. We spent around $100, a little bit under actually, and we just rented the Oculus. So everything in the set, the motors, the frame, we all got scrap metal and scrap parts. So it's really affordable and really good for an at-home kind of setup if people were interested in it.
The way the potentiometer would take in the raw data will be from the joysticks itself. So we will be hooking up the Arduino with the joysticks so that the raw data goes into the Arduino through a function that gives us a curvilinear motion which will help us not to be motion sick. So each time we use the joystick, like suppose we take a left turn, it sends in some amount of data, and the maximum data it will go through a function called I'm guessing it's a cubic function which we already devised and we had the code for it, but since the motor broke, we cannot.
This is your 10-second warning.
We cannot implement it properly. So yeah. So basically, those raw data goes into the Arduino.
And that is time. Let's give it up for Sim.
And forward and backward, since we are connecting to two mounts, and we also have different screw holes for different weight classes, as well as different circumstances that may arise.
And how are you driving the motors?
We're using so we had motor controllers, but we didn't have enough. Our MOSFETs couldn't handle 30 amps, so they fried.
Out of the MOSFETs, and the MOSFETs were only rated at 10 amps, and these motors are rated for about 30 amps. We measured them to be about 12 amps normal power, so they were just not enough to control the motors.
I feel your pain. I burned a lot of motors at Armadillo Aerospace.
Didn't really quite work though, did it?
Yeah, it's just a motor controller.
Okay, so I'm curious about implementation. Is your idea to actually make an entire chair or attachments to certain chairs?
So this can be attached to any chair, since most desk chairs have a universal mount, and we are just using our own mount to screw it with 4 bolts, and they're proprietary for most chairs. And so we could just sell the mount itself while having themselves implement their own chair.
And the other thing about it is we not only have joysticks, but we put other chairs on it, such as a racing wheel and stuff like that.
And it is fully customizable. Like it can work on any games, any computer, and inside your own personal space, in a small room or something.
Is this something you guys think you're going to continue working on, or you think you're done for the day?
I think we might continue working on it. At least get it working.
Yeah, there are a lot of places we see taking this. So right now this is for Elite Dangerous, but as we said, the mount is universal. So we were thinking maybe it would be possible to create some sort of modular chair setup so that you could, like say you want to play a racing game, you could put a wheel there, you could have foot pedals, you can just interchange these peripherals.
So guys, this is great. Yeah, it looks really cool. So where did you guys spend most of your time and effort?
Welding and building the chair. It was mainly me, Ben, and Daniel here. Since we're electrical and mechanical engineers, we welded everything together from scrap metal. We used old window motors so that we could keep the cost down, and we made sure our levers were sustainable for 200 plus pounds.
And a lot of our time was in those motor controllers as well, just trying to get it to work. We tried all sorts of things. We tried the MOSFETs. We were going all around trying to find some relays. And at the end, we were getting desperate. We were going to try getting like a servo with some foil on it.
And we CS students were basically doing the software stuff, like setting up the Oculus devices, doing the Arduino coding, and doing the getting the raw data from the joysticks.
Did you get any of the inputs to work?
Yes, actually we did, but then actually we had it for a test run, but during that test run the motor broke. So
All right,
it was
and
right.
that is all we have time for questions. Let's give it up for Sim.